Okay. So I'm so sorry last time. I'm not really feeling well, and that's why I informed the CH to cancel the class.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to continue with our lesson, okay? So I will
Okay.
share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Mhm. So last time we have discussed about this thing. So now we are going to read a dialogue. And
Okay.
this dialogue is between three people.
Okay.
So I want you to be Kevin and I will be Grandma Brown and okay.
Okay.
You will be Songmin. Okay, so you will be Kevin and Songmin, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So now let's okay, before we read this one, so let's first read this K words and expressions because we are going to encounter these words in the dialogue. Let's start with this one. Youth. What does youth means?
Yes. Young person.
Yes, it means young person. How about don't tell me?
I think I can get what are you going to say.
Okay. How about spill the beans?
Tell us everything.
And this one, warang.
Flower Knights. Young noblemen in Korea in the 10th century.
Okay, so now let's read the dialogue.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, Kevin. What are you watching?
It's an animation about a yacht and his lover.
Sounds interesting. What happens?
He fights the enemy to get a magic flute back and he's almost killed when look up from his homework. Don't tell me his lover gives up her life to become a flying horse and rescue the magic flute from enemy. That's right. Somin, how do you know that?
Yeah, spill the beans, Songmin.
I learned it in Korea before I came to the US. We call it Hwang Giperang.
And what's next?
Giperang dies and becomes a flying horse to be with his lover again. Is
Is
that the end? Did they live happily ever after? In a way, the story ends with them living forever and protecting Korea.
that's a beautiful myth. Do you have any more for us?
Maybe another time. Grandma's son got homework to finish.
Okay. So, can you tell me what the dialogue is about? What are they talking about?
It's about the myth of Hwang and just a Korean myth.
It's a Korean myth. By the way, do you know what the word animation means?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, very good. How about lover? A lover.
Like their wife or like
Mhm.
they have special feelings about them. Like
They have a
yeah, maybe,
relation.
yeah,
Okay. So, how about a flute? Do you know what is a flute?
yeah.
It's a musical instrument. Okay. So,
Okay,
this is a Korean myth and it's about a magic flute, right?
yeah.
hmm So, it's about a magic flute and they are fighting to get the magic flute back. Okay, so that's what the Okay, by the way, can you summarize the myth? It's just a very
Um,
short myth. So, can you summarize it?
I'm not understanding what are you saying.
Okay, can you summarize the myth? What happened in the myth based
Um,
on
can I just Google one sec?
Okay.
I don't know what is summarize.
Okay.
Like,
By the way, summarize is just a short version, just like the one you did with your myth from your
oh,
country.
oh.
Okay.
So Kevin is watching an animation about just wait. Um, the story about a youth and his lover is a myth, a
Mhm.
Korean myth that um I have they want to take their magic flute back, so they fight.
Mhm.
And Gi Parang dies sacrificed to be a flying horse and um, to be live again with her lover, with
Mhm.
his.
Mhm.
So they live ever after, and they're still protecting Korea.
Okay. So that's it. So the story was about the magic flute, and they want to protect their place, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So now we need to answer these. There's a dialogue quiz. We need to answer the questions. So let's start with number one. Do you know the story? Do you know this
No,
story before? Okay, no,
no.
me too. I haven't heard of this story. How about this one? Do you know the name Giparang's lover?
No, I don't. Like Hawang,
Mm-hmm.
I think is Hawang.
Yes, this one.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Giparang. So it's a really complicated. It's a really complicated name because it's a Korean name. How about this one? Why is the magic flute important?
Because I'm not sure. Like I don't know. I have no idea why the flute is important.
Yes, it's not. We can't find that in the dialogue. Also, it's not stated here that the dialogue just says that they need to get the magic flute back, but they didn't. The reason is not there. Okay, but it's
Yeah.
really very important. So maybe it can save their place, or maybe it has the power
Or maybe
to
yes.
defeat the enemy. Yes. How about this one? What is Sungmin doing while Kevin is watching the animation?
He is doing his homework.
Yes, he is doing his
Wait,
homework.
wait. Looking up for his homework.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, how about this one? So how does Sungmin know the story?
He did learn it in Korea before he came to US.
Mm-hmm. So maybe Sungmin is a Korean, right?
He is.
Because just by looking at his name, it looks like he has a Korean name.
Yeah.
And when he said warang giparang, so they call it in Korea warang giparang. Okay. But maybe now they're in the US. But before, when he was in Korea. How about this one? So
Uh,
what does Grandma Brown want Sungmin to do?
yeah, she wants to she wants Sangmin to tell more about the myth.
Mm-hmm. She wants Sungmin to tell more about the myth, or she wants Sungmin to tell them about other myths that he knows. But what did Sungmin tell them on other myths?
Mm, no, he is go to do his homework.
Mhm, because he needs to finish his homework. Okay. Now let's proceed. So we have here opinion samples. So now we are going to, I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree with these opinions, and you need to reason. You need to tell me why. Okay, so let's start with this one. Okay,
Myth
okay,
like
can you read?
okay, myth like Harang Giprang are very interesting, but that's all we don't have to take seriously. Of course, our ancestors needed way to explain the world, so invented gods and heroes for the myth. But when we come down to it, myths are just stories that people told each other before they had TV. Now we have science and the internet. However, we don't need these ancient tales anymore.
Mm-hmm. Do you agree with this? Mm-hmm.
Maybe yes.
Why do you agree with this? Do you think that we don't have to take them very seriously?
I'm not sure, like 50-50.
50-50. Why?
I think I would choose no more than yes. Like we still need those yes for after. We we maybe have TV, but we still need myth like that.
Mm-hmm. And it says here that myths are just stories that people told each other before they had TV. So do you agree with this, that they are just making stories or telling myths, maybe just not to be bored because they don't have TVs before, right? And they need something to entertain them. So maybe that's why they are just creating myths and they are telling people stories about myths. Do you agree with that?
Maybe yes.
Yes. But now that we have science and internet, so we can do research, right, about those myths, if those are really true. And then, okay, by the way, do you know what the word ancient means?
Ancient, like very long,
Mm-hmm,
old.
very long. Okay, so we don't need these ancient tales anymore. You know what are tales, right?
Yeah.
Just like this one, just like the myths. These are tales or the old folk tales, stories about gods, goddesses, or it can be any story. Okay, so you don't agree with this sentence. You know what? Me too. I think it's really myths are really interesting, but you shouldn't really take them seriously because those are maybe some are true. But when you
But
say but when they talk about magic or powers, I don't think that's true. So it's fictional. But they are, however, they are showing or telling different cultures of their country. So that's why it's really interesting, but it's not really true. Especially now that we have internet and TV, so we can we can watch a lot more interesting movies instead of listening to those myths. But there are many movies about myths also, right? Have you seen movies about myths?
yeah,
Hmm? Okay, and those movies are really very entertaining and interesting. Okay, now let's proceed with opinion two. Can you read this opinion two?
opinion two. I agree that myths are interesting, but I also feel that they are deep and meaningful. Believe it or not, myths have a lot to tell us in the 21st century. The Greek myth of Greece, for example, is a classic search for truth. Achilles
Mm-hmm.
has to pass through many dangers before he can return home with his faithful wife, Penelope. There, then there are characters like Aether and Narcissus. I believe the Greek expressed the view of life in the myth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, by the way, have you heard of this Greek myth, the Ulysses?
I just heard about the name.
Mm-hmm, you heard about the name. So it's really a very nice myth. The story is very nice. So because Ulysses has to go away from home because he needs to He needs to do very important things. Mhm. And you know what? Her wife, Penelope, her wife is very faithful, really. And Penelope has been waiting for Ulysses for so many years. And then many people are, or many men are trying to be her husband. But she's still waiting for Ulysses, and it really took a very long time. But in the end, Ulysses have returned to his wife. Okay, so do you agree with this opinion?
Maybe yes.
Why?
It's kind of true. In old Greek, they
Mm-hmm.
won't have anything to express themselves,
Mm-hmm.
so they made myths to just express themselves and make them less boring, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And when you're going to read myths, especially Greek myths, you can also learn a lot of lessons. You can apply a lot of lessons because you can learn a lot of things because maybe when they are making these myths, they are basing it on real life experiences, except for the powers and those magic things. But when you say
Yeah,
lessons, it's really applicable in real life. So we can learn a lot of lessons and we can apply those lessons in our daily lives. Okay, so now let's proceed. Okay, so before we continue to the next part, so first let's read these keywords and expressions. So what does this take them seriously mean?
to believe them.
To believe them. How about this one? When we come down to it.
All things considered,
And how about a lot to tell us?
you can learn many things from.
And Ulysses. Who is Ulysses?
A Greek hero who took 10 years to return to his home after fighting in the Trojan War.
By the way, have you heard of the Trojan War?
A bit.
Okay, so it's a really nice story, and there's also a movie about that. It's called, I think, Troy. Yes, because
Maybe.
the kingdom is called Troy, and it's really very good because the soldiers are very smart because they can't enter the Troy, the kingdom of Troy. They can't enter. And you know what they did is that they made a very big horse, a wooden horse, a horse made of wood.
And then the warriors get in there.
Have you heard of that one?
Yeah,
Okay, and it's yeah. How about this one? Classic. What does classic
classic,
mean?
typical,
Okay, and how about this one? View of life.
culture and
Okay,
thoughts about life.
culture and thoughts about life. Okay, so now we are going to debate. But you don't need to choose statements. You're going to tell something about this, okay?
Okay.
Or you're just going to tell your opinion about this one. So let's start with number one. So myths are just stories, and we shouldn't take them seriously. What do you think?
Maybe because it's not that real.
Mm-hmm. It's not that real, so you shouldn't take them seriously.
Yeah.
hmm But there are also some myths, not every myth, but there are also some myths which, even when you really don't want to take them seriously, those myths can make a great impact in your life when you read or watch those movies about those myths, especially if there are many life lessons. So even if you don't really want to take them seriously, but you can't really help yourself because maybe it's because of yes, I think it's really because of the lessons that you can get from the myth. So maybe you'll be attached to the messages of those myths. How about this one? Mythical heroes make good role models.
Mm, I think maybe like people try to be like them. They want to be great. I think.
Mm-hmm. So and mythical heroes also they usually save people, right? Save people or save the place that they're living and they're going to. So they're showing a lot of good behaviors or good characteristics.
Just like
Hmm.
there's something. Okay.
Okay, so they can make good role models. How about those villains? You know what are villains?
Yeah.
Yes, the enemies. What do you think of them? Because there are some villains who are not really very good. Some are not really very bad. Some are just, influenced by something, and some are also just doing bad things because they want to get revenge. You know what is revenge,
Yeah.
right? So what do you think of them? What do you think of villains? Do you
Villains.
think they deserve second chances?
Yeah, I think they should. They deserve to have a second chance. But if they won't change, so they should not have any other change, like chance.
Okay. So it depends if they will change, but if they will really not change, so we can't do anything about that. So how about this one? Our ancestors made myths to tell us about life. What's your opinion?
I like hmm, I think this is a bit true, but not those
Mm-hmm.
unreal stuff. We can base off on some myths that like they are realistic and not have those weird stuff.
Mm-hmm. So there are some myths which really tell us something about life, just like this one, the Ulysses myth.
Yeah,
We can really learn something, but there are also some myths which are meaningless, right? Meaningless, or you can really learn you can't learn something from those myths. So maybe they're just made to entertain or to so that the people will not be bored during during those ancient times, because they don't have televisions or internet, so they need something to entertain them. So maybe some
yeah,
myths are just made to maybe to make you laugh or to entertain you. So, but we can't really learn some moral things or good things about life with those myths. Okay, now how about number 4? Can you read number 4?
or uh, our modern myths help us to make sense of life.
Okay, do you agree with that? Or what's your opinion about that one?
Like they may be true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, like mm, I have I don't know. Like some they can may give lessons, like real lessons,
Mm-hmm.
but some maybe don't.
Mm-hmm. So it depends. When you say modern meat, so it means the one that we have now, not like the ancient times or not like the Greek meats. So yes, that's true. But I don't think all modern meats help us make sense of life, because there are also some modern meats who are very no, they just focus on fighting and powers, and we can really learn some things that doesn't make sense. But there are also those modern myths which are really talking about life. So they make sense because we can learn something from it. We can reflect. But while watching or reading those modern myths, we can reflect with our lives, because we can compare our lives with the lives of the, for example, when you say mythical heroes, right? So those
Yeah,
are the modern myths nowadays. So we can we can compare our lives with their lives, right?
like
Hmm. So that's why we can learn a lot of things while reading those one. Okay, so I guess that's it. So next time we are going to talk about fashion. Okay, our topic next time will be about fashion. Okay, so now we don't have enough time. So before I end the class, do you have questions?
No.
No. Okay, so I guess that's it. So I have to go now. Thank you so much and see you next time and have a good night. Bye bye.
Bye.